Hello YouTube, welcome to your source for interesting news from around the net. I'm Zach, you're watching ZakDTV. Let's get right into this. I've got a question for you. Do you own your cat? Do you own your dog? Are you sure? Came across a story today where people are signing paperwork thinking that they bought their animal, when really they're signing up for a lease. For example, there's this woman in San Diego. She paid $2,400 for her Labrador Retriever. Way expensive for a dog in my book, but that's what she paid for her lab. She got it home a couple months later. She was checking her credit report, and she had an additional $5,800 charged to her credit report for not paying a payment. In the paperwork that she signed when she bought the dog, there was a lease agreement. She had agreed to pay $165.06 per month payments to keep the dog. Another one of these is a cat lover out in Florida. She went to a breeder and bought her cat for $1,700 as a Bengal cat. I guess they're pretty, they're not bad looking. But she later learned that she had a 32-month payment on this cat at $129 a month. Or, to get out of her lease, she could just return the cat. It was up to her. Now, of course, this kind of stuff has been reported to the Better Business Bureau, Federal Trade Commission, stuff like that. It's legal. Most of these loans out there are done by Bristlecone Lending. Now, they're based out of Nevada. And the way they're structured, they don't really give an APR on it because it's a lease. But when you figure it out, they're charging about 30 to 170% APR on this. It is high interest lending. According to Dusty Wunderlich, he's the owner of this company, we like the niches where we are dealing with emotional buyers. People are pretty emotional when they're buying pets, you know this. You have your kid screaming, cute little puppy in your arms, you're going to sign the papers and get out of there, right? You want to go play with it. This is happening to people all over the country, so check your paperwork. Do you own that cat? Might be a good excuse to get rid of them if you don't like them. This next story put a smile on my face. I think it is great. Trolling is a problem all over the internet. Well, they have figured a way to combat this, and it's not Google's little just delete the trolls. This actually allows the conversation to move forward. The Norwegian public broadcaster, it's a news site from Norway, it's kind of like NPR here. They ask you 3 questions based on the article before you're allowed to post comments. This stops people from just posting after they're triggered by a headline. And according to their editor, it gives people a good 15 seconds to calm down after reading the article. It stops people just straight out trolling. And it also allows for an informed discussion on whatever the subject was about. Sounds like a win to me. I hope they implement this across the whole internet. I was never one to pay attention to comment boards, but now that I'm doing this daily, oh my God, some of this shit people out there write, I can't believe it's even out there. But in the long run, if having to answer 3 questions before I comment will help clean up those shit posts, I'm more than happy for it. What do you guys think about this one? I think it's great. This is a little more tech news for you. This, though, comes from the world of hunting and game sports. I personally find it's perfectly okay to go hunting. I live in the country. My boys both learned to hunt when they were of age. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You don't kill indiscriminately and follow the laws. That's my take on it. But we're in a situation now where poachers and some legal hunters are actually out intercepting the signals from the tracking chips that our conservation groups are putting on animals. Like some of these tags are just VHF, very high frequency radio waves, and you can go out and buy a receiver that will triangulate position for you and lead you into the animal. You could pick up that setup for a couple $100. If you want a real high-end one that could track multiple tags, yeah, for less than like $4 grand. There's even a spot online where you can rent them for a week at a time. That kind of technology was used in Yellowstone recently to hunt down a pack of 8 gray wolves and kill them by some hunters who weren't allowed to hunt. Because first off, it's a national park, and second, you're not allowed to hunt gray wolves. They had a whole pack of them murdered so some guys could have some trophies. Now, they do have the satellite GPS tags, which are harder to track. They actually beam the information up to a satellite and then down to somebody's servers. So you really can't get the information from that as easily. But there has been at least one attempt to hack an account that's associated with the Satpura Tiger Reserve. They track their Bengal tigers. Again, there's another one. That black market for Bengal tiger bones and stuff is up there pretty high. People want to find them. Well, the hack was unsuccessful. But I'll tell you what, most of the times when a hack is successful, you don't know about it until well after it happens. So this one got caught. How many of them got through? But they're looking for the tag data for the Bengal tiger. There's even cases where poachers will use geotagging from people's like Facebook safari photos and whatnot when they're out as tourists, taking their photos and uploading them to Facebook. They'll use that geotag on there and go out and find that rhino and kill it. The horn is worth more than gold. I mean, it's gotten so bad with the public using these geotags that Canada has banned the use of them in 3 of their national parks. They say a lot of times they're being used to go out and harass animals, photographers getting out in the woods and tracking animals, stuff like that. They do have case of 3 grizzly bears that were taken, and they believe they were tracked by their VHF tags as well. If you end up in a Canadian national park with a VHF receiver on you, you could face a fine of up to $25,000 now. This kind of stuff isn't just showing up in hunting either. Fishing as well. Anglers in Minnesota recently petitioned to get tag numbers off of northern pike that were being tracked by conservationists. They were denied, but this is kind of a gray area. Depending on who put the tags on there and who's paying for them, Freedom of Information Act might free this stuff up for people. Because if the government paid for it, we have the right to know about it. To me, this is all pretty cheap. I don't like these tactics at all. It's no better than going to a deer farm and shooting your first deer. It's not hunting. At this point, it's just murder. And most of these cases, too, people don't even use all the flesh. They're out trophy hunting. Let me know what you guys think about this. Let's try to stay off the meat is murder debate and just talk about the actual hunting using these cheating techniques. This one's political for you guys. All right. We have Mark Chelgren. He's a state senator from Iowa, and he used to think that he had a business degree. Yep, you guys voted for him. He thought he had a business management degree. That is until somebody blew the whistle on him. It wasn't a degree. It was a certificate for completing a manager's course at a Sizzler Steakhouse. Like I said, you guys voted for him. The thing is, he was not doing this maliciously. He was not trying to stack his profile. He didn't know the difference. And I guess he's not technically wrong. I mean, it was a business management degree. He was certified to manage a Sizzler Steakhouse. There's props for him. You know, maybe next he'll just go major in fries over at the Hamburger University for McDonald's. It seems to be the path his education takes. And finally, for the most epic Dine and Dash ever. There were 120 people celebrating in the El Carmen restaurant in Spain. They were gathered after a baptism, having a nice good party, enjoying themselves. And they had put down a €900 deposit. It's about $950 in order to rent the place. They had their apps, they had their main course, drank about 30 bottles of alcohol, and as the servers were preparing to bring out dessert, everyone vanished. The owner, Antonio Rodriguez, said it happened in a minute. It was something they had planned, and they left in a stampede. Now, of course, the police were contacted. They haven't been able to get any of these people yet. The reservation information was probably false. But could you imagine that? I just picture the Looney Tunes scene where everybody disappears and there's a plate left spinning on the table or something. Like I say so often, I can't make this stuff up. And with that, I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for stopping in. If you like what I do, go ahead and give me a subscribe. Help me out by sharing me with your friends. Maybe we can get this channel to grow a little bit. It is Friday, so I've got the weekend off. I'll see you guys on Monday.